Anthropic launched Project Glasswing, an effort to prevent AI cyberattacks with AI. There's a movie tracking app that warns about jump scares. And Sony is starting a weird service that scans people to put them in PlayStation games. It's Wednesday, April 8th, and here's a quick look at tech news this morning from Engadget. We see a lot of doom and gloom about the potential negative impacts of artificial intelligence, particularly centered on how it could create new problems in cybersecurity. Anthropic has announced a new initiative called Project Glasswing to help address those concerns by working to secure the world's most critical software against AI-powered attacks. The endeavor includes Amazon Web Services, Apple, Broadcom, Cisco, CrowdStrike, Google, JP Morgan Chase, the Linux Foundation, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Palo Alto Networks as partners. Participants will use Claude Mythos Preview, an unreleased general-purpose model from Anthropic, to enhance their own security projects. Anthropic claims that this model has found thousands of exploitable vulnerabilities, including some in every major operating system and web browser. The company said it wants to begin using its tools defensively to prevent malicious use of AI that could cause severe consequences for economies and security. Anthropic has become one of the notable AI companies raising concerns about ethics in the field. Earlier this year, the business refused to remove guardrails on its services for use by the Pentagon, which prompted the Department of Defense to sanction Anthropic with a supply chain risk designation in retaliation. Launching Project Glasswing could be a helpful start toward improved cybersecurity in the AI era, but some damage has already been done. Its own Claude was reportedly used by a hacker against multiple government agencies in Mexico back in February. There's a new movie tracking app in town with a twist for those squeamish horror fans out there. Binge leverages Apple's Live Activities feature to warn viewers about jump scares in horror movies. Now, this seems to work rather simply. Users open the app when starting a movie, and Apple devices will display warnings on the lock screen ahead of frightening scenes. The settings can be adjusted to only warn about major jump scares and the like, leaving viewers vulnerable to some of the smaller terrors. However, the app does not integrate with any streaming services. It only knows a movie starts because a button has been tapped. This means that people will have to notify the app when taking a bathroom break or making some extra popcorn, lest the timing of the notifications get all screwed up. This info can be accessed via a timeline, and Binge is also vying to become an all-in-one movie tracking app like Letterboxd and JustWatch. So it provides details about the cast and crew of movies and shows, along with reviews, awards, runtimes, and other basic information. It also tracks which streaming platforms are home to a specific piece of content, which is handy, as stuff tends to move around a lot in this modern age. Finally, there is a set of tools for parents that pulls data from external sites like Rotten Tomatoes. This displays if a movie or show has violence or sexual content, profanity, or drug use. The app is free to download, but access to jump scare warnings requires a paid subscription. That costs $2 a month or $18 each year. There's also a lifetime subscription for $50. It's available for iPhones, iPads, and Macs. Binge is not the only way to track scary scenes ahead of time, but it is the only tool that integrates with Apple's Live Activities platform. But, forget jump scares. I want an app to warn me about the super gory scenes when watching The Pit. Those makeup artists are top tier. Well, Sony just announced a truly strange initiative called the Playerbase. This is a program to scan people's likenesses and pop them in PlayStation games. Now, that's pretty wild, but potentially cool to those who have always wanted to become a weird humanoid version of Crash Bandicoot. The program is ramping up slowly. Sony has announced a contest of sorts to place one lucky fan inside of Gran Turismo 7, though in a reduced fashion. The chosen player will get an image of their face placed inside the game as a character portrait, and will get the chance to design a logo in the exterior of a vehicle. Now, that person will also get a trip to Los Angeles to participate in a full body scan, but Sony has not said what, if anything, they do with that scan. After all, Gran Turismo 7 is a racing game without too many full-body models walking around. Fans have a lot of hoops to jump through to be considered for placement. There's a traditional application process, but also video interviews and other stuff. The promotion is available to players in the Americas, Europe, Asia, South Africa, and Australia. Of course, there needs to be actual new PlayStation games for people to scan their likenesses into. Sony has not exactly been providing us with a robust lineup of first-party titles this generation. Thanks for listening. There's more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Anna Washenko and Lawrence Bogg. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with more tech news from Engadget.